Well, South Africa has been in the news lately. President Trump and others in his administration have accused South Africa's government of allowing widespread violence against the Afrikaner population, particularly white farmers. Now, Trump has suggested a genocide is taking place against white South Africans this week. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa visited the White House to push back on Trump's claims and to set the record straight. It turned into a controversial meeting. Joining me now is Nicholas Rush-Smith, an associate professor of political science and the director of the master's program in international affairs at CUNY's City College. He is also a senior research associate in sociology at the University of Johannesburg. So you know a lot about South Africa.
Yep. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Look, thank you for being here at New York One. Let's start right here. What's going on in South Africa when it comes to violence against white farmers?
Sure. So the claims of white genocide are incorrect. The fact is that there, as President Trump pointed out, many high-profile incidents of crime, but as a total pattern, it would be false to say that it's a genocide. The fact of the matter is, and it's unfortunate, South Africa is on average a violent country. Depending which stats you look at, it's probably in the top 5 most murderous countries in the world, but that violence is very heavily concentrated in particularly poor and, generally speaking, relatively black neighborhoods for historical reasons having to do with the legacy of apartheid. When it comes to white farmers, although there are individual horrific incidents that are tragic for those families, it does not add up to a pattern of genocide.
What was your reaction studying international politics and South Africa? You also teach there. What was your initial reaction to this meeting between the two presidents?
It was a difficult position for President Ramaphosa. The country's, South Africa's economy is in a difficult position. It has not really grown in roughly a decade. There's an enormous unemployment rate, and to make matters worse, they have a lot of pressure from the United States on tariffs. In fact, we're South Africa's second largest trading partner. And so they're desperate for better access to trade and to stop sort of pressure around tariffs. With that said, obviously there's an awful lot of pressure from the United States point of view around issues having to do with white farmers. And Ramaphosa was put in a difficult position of having to balance both these economic needs and these sort of social and political concerns.
You know, President Trump showed a lot of videos during that meeting. A lot of research has gone into the last few days saying a lot of that information was wrong. He showed a bunch of crosses saying they represented a lot of dead white farmers. It ended up not being the case. There was a situation with body bags. He showed body bags. It ended up not being South Africa. It was the Congo, that picture. But talk a little bit about what is the story behind the politician seen in a video Trump played, that person seeming to call for the death of white South Africans. And it's a phrase that he often used and it's been used over the years. But what's the deal behind that person?
Absolutely. So I believe what you're referring to is a politician named Julius Malema, who leads a party called the Economic Freedom Fighters, the EFF. It is a party in South Africa that gets, in the most recent election, about 10% of the vote. So it's a minority party. He has used that particular chant over years to rally people. It's a chant that goes back to the apartheid era. With that said, it is exceptionally controversial in South Africa for perhaps obvious reasons. It's also, as President Ramaphosa pointed out, a sort of chant and a set of claims that are relatively fringe within South Africa, to the degree that the politician in question is not part of the ruling government. He has been sued over use of that phrase and has seen a sort of declining vote share over time.
I actually want to go back and play some sound from that meeting between the two presidents there, the president of the U.S. and the president of South Africa. If we can, let's play that soundbite from the two presidents so we can hear that.
I have other friends in South Africa. I have people that left. One in particular that says you can't go there. He said they want to take your land, they take your land and they kill you. It's okay, and they say it's okay to do. Now, we're going to talk about it, but this is a tremendous, look, this is a story recent. These are all people that recently got killed.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people.
And that's something that you said, and people should understand that apartheid only ended in the early 90s, where, you know, blacks were not allowed to do many, many things. In our last minute, can you tell me what role does Elon Musk play in all of this? Many people may know he was born in South Africa.
Yeah, so it's difficult to say sort of behind the scenes what's taking place, but there are a few things that are clear. One is that the Trump administration is limiting access for refugees from around the world, and in fact, my understanding is that the recent allowance of 49 Afrikaners to come here as refugees are the only refugees that we're allowing in recently. So it's peculiar, unusual, and sort of out of step with the long history of refugee admission over time. The degree to which Elon is involved in that, I can't say because I'm not an insider to the Trump administration. But it is an issue, the sort of race relations and questions around farms and farms attacks, something that Elon has been very public about in the last many years. So one assumes that that's played a role in these decisions.
Yeah, I'm quite sure this conversation is going to continue. All right, thank you so much for being here, Nicholas Rush Smith from CUNY's City College. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. Let Spectrum News be your resource for balanced, in-depth political coverage, and click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV to learn more about the candidates, where they stand on the issues, and more. We'll see you then.